Hello there. This is the RadioShack 300-in-1 electronic lab kit. This is basically a kit designed to teach kids about electronics. And I grabbed this one on Facebook Marketplace for $30. Now, unfortunately, the Forrest and Mims books are not included with this kit. I saw other similar kits that comes with two books, the basic electronics lab book and the digital logic lab book, written by Forrest and Mims, and that is definitely a plus. But this one has only the project's booklet instead. So let us have a quick look what is inside. So this is the console, this is the main part, and then you have the booklet, and then you have two packets of components, and we will come to that later, but let us start with the console here. So it's in an overall good condition and looks sophisticated and looks nice, high-tech looking, really. As you can see, it has a breadboard in the center and all kind of built-in components all around it. There is really many of them that can be used in the different projects. So if you will go through that quickly, you will see here we have LEDs. Those are just LEDs, red color, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. And next to that you have the 7 digits display with all its components. And then you have a CDS cell. CDS stands for cadmium sulfide. You have a speaker right there with 2 terminals. And then you have an antenna and a power transformer. So the power transformer is there to match the circuit output impedance to the speaker. And I guess this one is for the radio projects. Now, this tuning gauge is a variable capacitor. And this one right there is a potentiometer. This is a variable resistor. It's a potentiometer. Next to it we have a DP-DT, a double pole double throw switch, 6 terminals, and here we have a bunch of push buttons switches with 2 terminals to create contacts, and finally 2 terminals here, and those are for the ceramic earphone that comes with the kit. Now, talking about terminals, you can see springs everywhere, really, connected to each component. And in fact, each component has springs connected to its terminals. And as you can see, the spring can be easily leaned, and a wire can be inserted right there into it. And when released, it will punch the wire and create the contact at that particular point. So, of course, this kit is meant for kids. And with the springs here and this technique, you have basically an easy and fast, let's say, and reliable way for kids to build the circuit with less risk of loose wires or bad connection. So that is that. And at the back there is nothing really except the 6 batteries holder here that will deliver 9 volts overall voltage, and 6 screws all around that you can unscrew with the Phillips screwdriver in case you want to tear this down and I don't know, maybe change a burned LED. Or, by the way, the LEDs doesn't come with the limiting current resistor, so before you, if you hook those, you better have maybe current limiting resistor. You can also change the potentiometer if you want to a different value, but you don't need to do that, because you have the breadboard here and you can plug any component you want and just use it. Now with this comes two components packets. They have a very good selection of components, of course, to build the 300 projects in the booklet. So let us dig into the first one. So you've got the hookup wires to hook up everything. Of course, those comes with a solid core to make it easy to slide into the breadboard tiny holes. But it's always good to have extra, because those will quickly get scissored, and the tip here will be bended quickly, and it will become more difficult to get it inside the tiny holes of the breadboard. So it's a good idea to have an extra spool maybe of wire that you can get from Amazon or DigiKey. Next to it we have the ceramic earphone and the fixed resistor. And then you have a bunch of capacitors, two types: electrolytic capacitors, which are the blue one, and those are polarized, so you have to pay attention when you hook them to your circuits, plus and minus. And then the tiny one here are the ceramic capacitors, disc, or we call them also disc capacitor, and they comes in different values also. Let us jump to the second packet. Now, first we have ICs. So you have all types of ICs here. You have op-amp, CMOS, with NAND and NOR gates, quad, all of them. You have counter and flip-flop, and you have one chip to control the 7-segment display. I guess it's this one, it's the 4511. Next to that you have a bunch of resistors. They comes all in quarter watt, and they comes in 5% and 2% tolerance, depend on the circuit and the usage. And then you have a whole pack of transistors and almost all type of diodes in there. We can read here. You have a switching, rectifier, Zener and germanium diodes. So a decent pack of components you've got there to build your projects. And that should give us an idea about what we expect as project also. Now, what is even more interesting is that you can add to this list more components, your own components. And you can build more than 300 projects if you want. Internet is full of fun circuits to build, so you can try many of them in this kit and have fun. So let us jump to the booklet right away. We'll take that out of the way. It has obviously the list of the 300 projects to build, of course, but it has also a brief introduction to the kit itself and all the electronic components that comes with it. First here, an introduction explaining the console and its built-in components. We went through that already in the beginning of this video. And then identifying the separate parts or components, starting with IC chips. That is worth reading, really. This is not just listing the components in the packets, but also giving a brief introduction to each component and its electrical characteristics. Once you read that, you can see what I am talking about. And this is really a good starting. See, you have also a nice table here showing the component symbols. And you have the name, and you have here also a description of the component. And this is a very nice summary already to summarize the most important components we usually use in our circuits. This is very nice. Excellent. So after that comes 2 chapters, let's say, maybe preparation and getting started. And those will take you through how to use the kit, how to hook up wires and the components in the breadboard, and so on. So this is worth reading also. And the rest of the booklet are the 300 projects. So this is the core of the booklet. As you can see, there is many circuits to build. Now, skimming quickly through this, if we pick one, for example, so we can see that each project has a wiring diagram showing the breadboard and how you need to lay out your components into it and how to hook them as per the project, let's say. Then you have a list of components used in the project with their values. Then you have a schematic of the circuits and all the components, and then you have a narrative description of the circuit function. And once you read that, you should have a good understanding of what the circuit does. You should probably read all of these before start to actually making the circuit. And this is really good starting to understand the circuit and what it does. So let us go back to the project list. So we have here the list of all projects, and now sure, there is many simple projects for beginners with few discrete components and basic stuff, but there is also many advanced circuits built around ICs and of all types, op-amps, counters, and there is many, as you saw already, there is many digital ICs, and let us quickly sample through this list. So we have first coming circuits to get us familiar with the basic components like resistors and capacitor and their behavior when they are in series, for example, or in parallel. So we can see, for example, parallel resistor, and then meet the diode, the LED, a special diode. It's a light emitting diode, and but it's a diode in the end that let current flow in one direction but not in the other direction. This is very basic, of course, explanation, but anyway, the electronic gas tank, and then you have capacitors in series and parallel. Meet the transistor. Now, meet the transistor is basically to introduce transistors. There is also some circuits here based on PNP and NPN types of transistor and their basic behavior. Now, after that, right here you have many projects built around op-amps and power amplifier. And then many digital circuits involving all sorts of logic gates, flip-flop, multivibrators, counters. It's really covering too much here. And I believe once you finish all those projects, you should have covered many analog and digital circuits and basic building blocks. You should have built a really good grounding in electronics by then. Now, coming to the point. Now, although this kit is for kids, I think it can be also used for electronic hobbyists. It can be used by electronic hobbyists and especially beginners who wants to learn electronics. With the projects, the kit, the console, and the projects will give you a good grounding. And the particularity of this kit, now this kit is the successor of the electronic learning lab from RadioShack also, built again by the legacy Forrest MIMS in the early 70s. But this kit is the 1999, I guess, version of it, with basically the same setup, but also with the big advantage of having the breadboard instead of the bunch of components with fixed values that comes with the predecessor. Now, having fixed value components is a bit limiting in terms of what you can do with that kit and the projects you can build. But this one has the breadboards, and the breadboard give you the opportunity to build even more than 300 projects, because you can hook up even more than what is provided with the kit. So you can hook many ICs and op-amps, as I said earlier, even more than what comes with the kit. So you can hook audio amplifier, you can use MOSFETs in your circuits, relays, and you can expand your collection of components around this. Why not, for example, using sensors? Now you have microcontroller boards available and ready to be used. So you can hook that also to the breadboard and use it. And not sure if that will fit though in this small breadboard, but I believe the Arduino Nano, or you have also the Tinsy, will surely fit. They are tiny, small microcontroller boards. I might try that in the future in some videos. The sky is the limit, really. Now, another key advantage is the power supply. The 9-volt delivered by the 6AA batteries are directly connected to the rail board power rails and deliver 6 different voltages ready to be used. So from V1 to V6 you have 1.5 volt, and then 3 volt, 4.5 volt, 7 volt, 8.5 volt, and 9 volt. Something important to mention also is that many of the circuits in this kit, in the booklet of course, are basic circuits that any electronic hobbyist or even electronic engineer should know. It really starts from the basics. Some are basic building blocks for other more complicated circuit that you can know about in the future when you are more confident and you understand better all the components and the circuits and how they work. So after building a circuits, any circuit, any project in this booklet, I encourage you to do further research and on the net to understand how it really works and why it behave like that. So you get familiar with the components and the name of the circuit maybe. You can also try to tweak the circuits and maybe change the value of some components and observe the new behavior and how that affects the output of the circuit. And this is how you learn. You can stick a multimeter and measure the current and the voltage in the output or in some particular points, some particular node. You can grab a pocket oscilloscope also, a cheap one from Amazon, and hook it to your circuit and see the output waveform, for example. This kit doesn't have the built-in ammeter. Some does, but this one doesn't have it. I'm not sure if that is plus or minus. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comment below. But in any case, an electronic hobbyist will end up having one or even two ammeter to measure current and voltage, sometimes at the same time when it's required. So I don't think not having the ammeter panel here is a negative point. So that's that, basically. And I hope this review gave you some insight, maybe, or maybe some brilliant ideas about what you can do with this kit. You maybe have one already, or maybe you will buy one after this review. But in all case, by the way, I'm not sure if you can still get a brand new one though, because it's an old kit, but I'm pretty sure you can pick one on eBay or maybe in Facebook Marketplace, like I did. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, and maybe which projects you want to see me building in this kit. If you do like the video, then please like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe and stay inventive, and see you soon. Cheers.